Hi, I'm Casey Flannery,
I'm Melissa Alexander.
and this is the CRE Chat Live podcast. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. This is our very first CRE Chat Live podcast. So we have a few questions lined up for each other, for the listeners, kind of to talk about what exactly CRE Chat is, how it got started, some plans for the future, and if there's anything else that comes up, we're just going to talk about it.
We're just going to wing it, actually. This is our first one, and Casey and I are really comfortable doing this online, but not, we've never done podcasts. We've gone live, but that's like for a minute at a time.
Yeah.
So this is all new to us. So hopefully it'll be fun. Hopefully you'll enjoy it, and maybe you'll learn something. That's our goal. But first of all, I do think we need to give a shout out because Casey and I, we just tweeted this. We haven't been together in person in a year.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Right? Because a year ago, I moved to Nashville from Memphis. Casey and I had previously worked together, and we kind of launched the Siri chats while we were together in Memphis. And Casey, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about what, everybody's kind of heard the term hashtag Siri chat, right? But why don't you tell everybody who's maybe not on Twitter and never done a chat what it is?
So CRE Chat, it's a live Twitter chat. So when you think live, you kind of think in person, but being live Twitter chat is you're just texting. So what CRE Chat is we post questions relevant to commercial real estate, and anybody that tunes in and follows along with the hashtag CRE Chat can respond to some of the questions and create conversations. And one of our very first topics was how everybody got started in commercial real estate to really get the ball rolling and get it started, which was February of 2018.
Which is really cool because now we're we're recording this now in May. So it's been over a year, and a year ago when we started, we were like, we didn't realize, we started because we wanted, number one, I was moving here to Nashville, which we're in Nashville now, shout out, here, downtown. We're in the Foundry Nashville headquarters right now. But when I was moving to Nashville, Casey and I kind of wanted a way to stay in touch with each other. And also, Casey and I, as two women in the industry, wanted to find a better way to network as women within the industry. And so Casey, I have a question for you.
Okay.
So, do you remember how CRE Chat got started?
I mean, I remember talking about it and coming up with the idea.
But do you actually remember the moment it was formed?
I don't.
Okay.
Do you remember?
You don't remember?
I don't remember.
Okay, so Casey and I, when we worked together, we would be, usually we would either take our lunch break or we would go after work and hang out actually at the nail salon, which is not a typical broker thing. Look, I just got my nails done today. Look, Casey's are much prettier than mine. But we were at the nail salon, and you don't remember sitting in the chair?
I mean, a little bit.
So that's where, this idea kind of blossomed because, Casey and I, we had just started to kind of get on Twitter, and
we realized there was such a huge network on there in commercial real estate that this was just almost an untouched platform and networking group that we have never tapped into before.
Right. We were just talking, and we were familiar with a couple of, we've never, at that point we had never participated in any chats, not just Siri chat, but any chat online. But we knew they existed, and so we were just talking back and forth, and we thought, what about a commercial real estate online Twitter chat? And so immediately we get on our phones and we're like checking to see if one existed.
Yeah.
And really there wasn't anything. Someone had tried a chat maybe 2 years prior.
Or more. I think it was longer than that, yeah.
So we just thought, hey, why don't we go try one and see what happens? So that kind of led us to our first chat. We basically, kind of jumped feet first into it. We didn't know what we were doing, just like today. So hopefully the podcast maybe will get better from here on out. And will be better. This microphone isn't even on. Just
It's-
FYI. We had a lot of technical difficulty.
Yeah, we're not. If you know anybody if you guys are in IT, feel free to reach out to us. You can find me on Twitter at Flann Casey, FLANNCASEY on Twitter and on LinkedIn. You can find me. How can we find you, Melissa?
At MB Alexan on Twitter. So please look us up. Send us suggestions.
Yes.
Call us.
Or just reach out directly to CRE Chat Live on Twitter at CRE Chat Live LIVE. On Twitter.
Yeah.
But we talked about how CRE Chat got started, and our first topic was how everybody got started in commercial real estate. And how did you find out about the commercial real estate industry?
Yeah, I mean that was the perfect first topic for CRE Chat. We were just getting started, and we as women, typically women in the industry have a different trajectory, a different path into the industry. So we honestly, our goal for that chat was to kind of showcase that, because as you asked me, basically I got started in the industry as a marketing director. I had studied marketing in school here in Nashville at Belmont. And then, my husband and I moved to Memphis in 2007 and worked in marketing then for a little bit, and then found out about a job at the commercial real estate, the Cushman affiliate that Casey and I ended up working at together. So found out about a marketing job, and then just kind of grew from there, grew into the company, became a partner, and then eventually became the only female broker at the firm.
Yeah.
And I remember when I was transitioning over to brokerage, well, actually before that, we were looking for somebody to hire in our marketing department.
Oh yeah,
and
that's right.
somebody's resume came across our desk, and that was yours.
Yes,
so tell us a little bit about how you got started.
Yeah, so this is actually really funny. I was in graduate school, and I had 2 different part-time jobs, and I worked on campus in the business department, but I was getting my master's in journalism, and somebody in the business school was like, hey, you know journalism, design. There's a company that's looking to hire a marketing intern for the summer. Is that something you would be interested in doing? I said, yes, it is. And so that person at the university submitted my resume to the company, and Melissa was the person in charge of hiring.
Casey.
And at that point, I had just committed working full-time on campus over the summer for 40 hours. And unfortunately, the company or the marketing intern they were looking for needed to be a 40-hour work week. And I wasn't able to commit. So I said, I'm sorry, I can't commit to 40 hours, so...
But I
didn't get the marketing intern position.
We didn't hire her for that, but I will say, when we talked to Casey, the person who worked with me in the marketing department, we always worked as a team. We interviewed as a team, because for us, being on a team was important, and I wanted everybody's input into who we would hire. And both of us just had a really strong sense about Casey. Like, we knew she was a go-getter. She was working 3 jobs. I mean, come on. So we passed her resume along to the admin department.
Yeah, kind of like a new kind of position for them. They were looking for some more help. I was available part-time, ended up getting the job as another intern in the company, and then after 7 months I ended up being hired full-time. So that's how I fell in and got into commercial real estate.
But then what's great, and what I love about Casey, is she's such a go-getter, and again, women typically when they're hired in the industry don't usually take the same path as men in the business, which is one of our goals, I guess, as CRE Chat. Is we want to create that conversation and show that, I mean, Casey had 3 jobs, right? Casey could have easily proven herself as a broker back then. But again, it's kind of a twofold problem, because there aren't, a lot of women don't consider brokerage, number one. So there's not a lot of awareness out there for people to become brokers. But number 2, I think it's also a problem within the industry, because these jobs aren't advertised, and typically the ones that are advertised are the admin or the marketing positions, are those positions that women respond to the ads to, and and when you interview a woman in the industry, you don't typically say, hey, why don't you try brokerage?
Mm-hmm.
Typically you say, oh, why don't you try admin and marketing and see how you like it. But back to Casey's credit, once I started to work in brokerage, Casey and I, we worked across. We basically looked at each other. Her key was right here, and mine was right here.
Probably just about as close as we are right now.
Pretty much, everybody's got the open office environment. So Casey and I worked together, and we would go to lunch occasionally. And Casey expressed interest in becoming a broker, and that was really exciting to me because being pretty much the only female broker in our office, I really wanted to help support her and help her, find her way in brokerage because I see a need. I saw a need in the Memphis market because there wasn't that many women brokers, right? So Casey and I met occasionally, and Casey studied for exam. She really didn't tell anybody.
No, I didn't tell anybody.
She kept it secret, and eventually she took her exam, passed it,
Yep.
and she moved on into brokerage, which is where she is today.
And I love it. I don't think I still wouldn't be at the same company probably if I didn't move into brokerage. I think it's a great business. It's a great industry. I think everybody that I've met and interact with daily, they're just incredible, great people with so much interest. So, but we're talking a lot about brokerage and being in brokerage, and CRE chat on Twitter, is not just for brokers. How many, what other sort of sectors of commercial real estate have tuned in and joined our chats every month? Right.
So, everything you see on CRE chat on Twitter, again, search the hashtag CRE chat if you're not familiar. But everything we do, Casey and I are very conscientious about. So one thing we try to do is we try to be as inclusive as possible, whether it be inclusive to females, males,
companies.
Ages, age range. We take all that into account because we know what it's like to be excluded at some point in time. But when we started the chats, we wanted to make sure that everybody could participate. We didn't want to just be focused on brokers.
Mm-hmm.
So we've had research directors participate.
Yeah.
We've had marketing people participate. We've had brokers. We've had CEOs of companies participate, which is incredible. To see CEOs. We've had top producers in their companies participate. Who else, Casey?
We got plans for more, too.
Yeah, right. We do have plans for more.
I mean, we're having, what's our goal with, we're here online, right?
Right.
You see our faces or you're listening to our voices, and on Twitter, when we're doing these CRE chats, you don't see our faces, you don't hear our voices. So why are, here we are speaking with you, speaking next to each other. What is our goal with CRE chat?
Well, I think our goal's always changing. So initially our goal was, I would have never felt comfortable being live on video.
And here we are.
So, Casey is it's really cool because we make a really good team because Casey is I'm the Gen Xer.
I'm the millennial.
And so Casey's, very big on video, and we kind of push each other in different ways. I think she pushes me more. She stays on top of things, and she's like, have you done this? Have you done this? But right now we're on video because of Casey, because she says, Melissa, not everybody out there is on Twitter, which is true. There's, it's funny because we talk about commercial real estate, and commercial real estate is kind of the last industry to pick up on technology, which is another goal of ours. We've hosted a chat on technology.
Yeah.
So, our goal is just to kind of get information out there. We have CRE pros across the country participating and giving input and sharing ideas. These are thought leaders in the industry. But our goal back then was to get those people, kind of harness that group of people that we found on Twitter, harness their ideas together and share them with others. So now our next step in the process is, why don't we reach the other people who aren't on Twitter,
and
right?
I mean, everybody's hearing about CRE chat. Oh, CRE chat, where can I listen? And we don't have an answer. And, you know, people are like, where can I read recaps? Where can I listen? How can I watch? And it's like, well, we're only on Twitter, which is just, you know, 240 characters to get your point across. Sometimes there's video involved, but it's not really a video platform or voice platform, and we're missing out, and we're missing a lot of people, and a lot of people want to know what we're doing, and we're missing a lot of those people that are not able to participate because they may not have a Twitter account.
Which we hope, if you are listening and you don't have a Twitter account, we sign up today. It's never too late. We have found it to be a tremendous asset for our business and for networking. But yeah, so we think a podcast is the next natural step to, you know, CRE Chat Live and the platform and the discussions. So kind of our goal to do the podcast is we want to have the chats online, and then we want to take the podcast and have our chat guests recap the chat after the chat. So our goal, Casey and I won't be sitting here together. We're gonna have technology.
We have technology.
We
have
talked to a lot of people. Thank you guys. You know who you are, who have helped us. But we will have video technology where we can record podcasts. We'll all be in different cities. Our guests are across the nation. They're not local. And so, you know, our goal right now to do the podcast is we'll have the chats and then we'll recap the chat on the podcast.
Yes.
So that's basically what it will be. And the topics, you know, why don't we go back and kind of talk about, you know, we're talking about CRE Chat, what it is, but why don't we tell them a few of the topics that we've covered and some of our favorite topics. You know, we have a few of our favorites. But just to give you an idea of what CRE Chat is and what we've talked about in the past, and how powerful it's been for the CRE community.
Right. Well, our first topic was how everybody got started in commercial real estate, and our second one, it just happened to be International Women's Day that came on March 8th, and so we were like, do we go ahead and jump into that topic? Is that something we want to cover as our second CRE chat?
Yeah, because here's the thing. That was March, February 2018. We were talking about this. Nobody was talking about women in CRE at that point.
No.
Online. Nobody. So this was a very kind of touchy subject.
Yeah. I think it was right when the Me Too
movement.
Yeah, so it was kind of really sensitive and a lot of conversation around it.
So we thought it was the perfect time to talk about, we're two women, right? We're very passionate. You'll see on our Twitter accounts, we're very passionate about promoting women in CRE. We think it's a very, very important time in CRE where, you know, we need the diversity. Our clients are very diverse. I sat at the table, you know, being a broker in industrial, you think, oh, well, I'm just working with a lot of men. But I literally sat at the table with a group of clients. I was the oldest person, number one. Okay, so I'm 40. I was the oldest person in the room. There were 3 men, there were 3 women. So, guys, you know, on these teams, we need to be bringing women to the table. So last year, I mean, Casey and I already know this, we're women. We know women are so important to this business. So we thought, okay, let's do it. But we are very sensitive about the topic because we think the controversial articles are not the way to go. We believe highlighting the positive aspects of hiring women in the business and the positive attributes that women have is how we can, you know, kind of promote women in the business. So when I read an article that's like about pay disparity, I'm not sure. I mean, I think it exists and I think it needs to go away, but I'm not sure it's you know, kind of what we should be focusing on, because when you're a broker in the business and when you work really hard and when you are successful, there is, you know, you can make as much money as you want, as you strive for.
Right.
It's all about how hard you work. So yeah, let's talk a little bit about that first do we have the International Women's Day?
We can
Recap.
pull up our very first International Women's Day.
Yeah, so we've had two International Women's Day. We'll always have them in March for the day.
International Women's Day, I believe, is March 8th. So it'll be the Thursday around where that date falls. And that's actually one of our most, for whatever reason, is one of our most popular CRE chat topics is women in commercial real estate or International Women's Day.
And it's just growing. I mean, it seems like since we started talking about it, we've seen more and more articles, we've seen more and more people online, you know, really discussing the topic.
And it's not just about women, it's just about diversity,
Right.
generational, gender, race, you know, just diversity in general. And International Women's Day and our CRE chat covers all of that. It's the umbrella to all of that. And I mean, I can't even count how many people that have tuned in.
Yeah, it's incredible. So, like, okay, so let's tell them a little bit about, for those of you who haven't participated in a chat, tell them a little bit about, like, what we asked on that day. What was question one? What was
Question one.
So typically we have maybe 5 or 6 questions. The chat's an hour long.
It goes really fast.
It goes super fast. So you have to be quick on the keyboard. What was
And
question?
you do
yeah.
something very important with our chats that we haven't really brought up is that every response you do, you have to use hashtag CRE chat or a lot of people won't
miss
see
it.
your answer. It could get looked over. So anytime you make a response, you want to use hashtag CRE chat. But our first question for our second CRE chat that we ever had was, what are some of the advantages, skills women in CRE bring to the table?
That's a pretty open-ended question, but really think about that. What are the advantages women bring to the table? And we had a tremendous amount of response. Like, read some of the responses that we had from men and women.
Yeah.
These are for men and women. Maybe you can say who responded to.
Vegas CRE team said creativity and persistence. Ryan Patel says a disruptive mindset and challenging the status quo, which is what the CRE industry needs.
And so let me stop right there because I'm going to give a shout out to CRE Chat because that's exactly what Ryan was saying. Is I will tell you, you know, when we started CRE Chat, we started to network with others, and I cannot tell you the amount of time that Casey or I were told, hey, this is not the way to network. Don't get online.
But their number one thing was to do as a broker was network.
Yeah, so we're told to network, but
now we're told we're doing it the wrong way.
Doing it the wrong way. So I think to Ryan Patel's point is, he says we're challenging the status quo. So the status quo is go to golf. No, I don't play golf. Sorry. You know,
leave the office on Fridays at 3 or 4 to go to the bar and drink beers.
Yeah, don't really do that either. So
although, you know, we might enjoy it.
Yeah.
We might
Rosé all day. So yeah, no. So there's just things that I don't talk sports. I don't, you know, I listen to it. I don't know a thing about. I do know a little bit about NFL football. We're looking at the Titan Stadium,
Nissan Stadium,
the Foundry conference room window right now, and I'm a Titans fan for life. But anyway, we're in the South. It's not about pro football anyhow. It's SEC all day long, and I didn't go to Ole Miss. Casey didn't go to
big football
Tennessee.
School. No.
Sorry to my partner who went to Tennessee, but you know, we can't do that. So the reason why we challenge the status quo is because we need to find, you know, we need to break down barriers as much as we can, and this is one way we think social media gives women an advantage.
Yeah.
So yeah, kudos to Ryan Patel for recognizing that.
You know, and we keep going back to the women topic, but really it's more than that too. It's a generational thing. Like, it's not because we're networking wrong, it's because we're women, it's because social media has never been used as a networking tool. It's seen as more as an extra, like, leisure activity.
Yeah.
But you're connecting with other brokers, you're connecting with companies, you're finding out what your potential clients are doing, where their focus is, what's important to them, and it gives you a topic. If you meet them in person or give them a call, you have a warm
you
call,
know.
a real warm call.
You know what's going on because you're online and you can see their Twitter handle.
What they're talking about, yeah.
And it also, that's a good point, and we'll be covering millennials at the next chat.
Oh, May 30th. I don't know if this will come out before then.
Hopefully.
We might just post this unedited.
But that's a good point because one of the things we said in the Bizno article, one of the things we talked about was, okay, so, and I tell people this all the time. They ask me, why are you online? Why do you think it's so important? And I say this, you have to be online because when you're out there, when Casey and I, as women, are out there calling on clients, they want to make sure we're qualified to do the job, right? So, Casey, what's the first thing?
Google Melissa Alexander. Is she on? Like, what's going to pop up?
Right. What will pop up when they search my name? Well, if I wasn't on Twitter, probably the only thing that would pop up is my resume.
Your
right?
bio, yeah.
My bio. Which, I could talk all day about my bio, but they're going to see the latest tweet. They're going to see the latest information I've shared. Industry, we stay on top of industry trends on Twitter, and say that 5 times fast.
Yeah, no.
Okay, she's not gonna do it. But we stay on top of the trends in the industry, and so when somebody's looking me up, when I've called them, they're gonna Google me. So
she exists. It's not just a picture on a company website.
Right.
It's more. It's your personality.
Right.
That's who they're going to be working with.
Right.
It's not a headshot, a stale headshot.
Right.
It's you with your personality, with your interests, that you do more than, update your resume every 4 or 6 weeks whenever you get a big deal done. Like, it's showing you out in the field. It's showing you going on tours and serving your clients.
Right. So yeah, I think it's important in that aspect. But I guess maybe we should talk a little bit more about.
Well, another topic, which we just completely just covered, was being on social media and CRE. One of the questions was for our social networking chat was, what would you say to CRE pros that are hesitant to use Twitter for their business? We just kind of covered some of that. Other topics on CRE chat on Twitter included trends in office, trends in retail, trends in industrial, big data and research, which Liz in Boston, she gave us a nice little kudos in the Biz Now when she was talking with Cameron. That she's gotten a lot of great information from the CRE chats that she's used with new platforms and information and technology that she can use to better her business.
I agree. I've learned so much from the chats. It's been incredible. We're back to the social media one when Ken Ashley was on. I wasn't Casey was better at LinkedIn than I was. I wasn't
but it's always off and on.
So I was very consistent on LinkedIn, and in speaking with Ken and doing the chat, Ken is always, I've followed Ken. I've been in the business for 13 years now. Ken's always been, he's like one of the old school guys. He's always been online. Ken Ashley in Atlanta at Cushman. And talking to Ken, he was, he told me about his strategy for LinkedIn, and he said 1 post a day, and only in the morning, because whoever's going to be looking at LinkedIn is probably going to scroll through it in the morning before they start their work day. And I thought, okay, I'll try it, and it's been phenomenal. So, and I'm connected with my clients, I'm connected with the other brokers on there. And the great thing about LinkedIn, I know most of you guys are on there, but if somebody likes your post, it's going to go to their feed too. So, kind of the more likes you get, the more.
Sometimes I see, and we're connected and we interact all the time, so our algorithms are really in line, I feel. But sometimes even I only see some of your posts on LinkedIn because somebody else liked it. And I'm like, did I not see this yet?
I agree.
And I like it, and I'm either liking their retweet or liking it because it popped up that they found interest in it.
So, to Casey's point, it's not important just to be on LinkedIn. You need to be active on LinkedIn. So
there's a lot of people that will say to me, "Oh, I saw that on your Twitter," or I saw that, and I'm like, "Are you even on Twitter? Like, I I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Like, you're not active. What are you posting? What information are you sharing with me? And I don't know what you saw of mine because you didn't like it or interact with it or comment on it. Didn't even know you were on the platform.
But people see it.
But people see it.
Yeah, so it's kind of like you don't know everybody who's seeing it, but you know it's being seen.
Yeah, and people will make an effort at networking events of 400 people. People will come up to you and be like, "Oh, you're Flan Casey." It's like, "Yeah, I'm Casey in real life. Nice to meet you." And this has happened to us at multiple events where
every time
we've connected with people online or they've connected with us, and will make an effort to come up and introduce themselves to us at big events.
Also, to that point, I think also Casey and I have been really, when you develop something like a Siri chat and it takes off like it has over the last year and a half, I always believe, whatever you're passionate about, you should use that to further good within your community. And Casey and I probably get maybe a call a week or every other week, maybe from a woman, or not just a woman, but men and women, young brokers who are just starting out in the business.
People have reached out to us, Austin, Texas, Hawaii,
California.
California. People have reached out to me from Nashville, and they've then reached out to you as well. Connecticut, and they're just like, "You're doing a phenomenal job. Like, thank you so much for doing this." And it's just incredible the reach that online social media has in our industry.
Yeah, and it kind of gives us not only we have this online platform, but Casey and I never turn down a phone call. So if anybody wants to call, talk about, kind of ask questions about what we're doing, or get pointers, or give us feedback, or ideas for other topics, then we welcome that. We are very open-minded, and I think that's what made Siri Chat so successful too. I think. Well,
something to your point about, and usually with Siri Chat, our guest host and our hosts that we have, we're very strategic about it, and we have a list of topics, and we're like, okay, who would be best to cover this topic?
Yeah.
And we reach out to them, ask them if they would be interested in being a host, and very rarely, I mean, we do have people kind of lined up wanting to be hosts, but we don't just let, it's very strategic in the way that we do it. But something that someone did reach out to us about was a last minute chat. I think we had maybe 3 or 4 days to prepare for it. And it was the DNA of CRE Chat. And that was in January, kind of everybody's getting back from the holidays, and Linda Day Harrison reached out to us and was like, do you guys want to partner with us, and is it possible to do a DNA of CRE Chat? And that's kind of their resource.
Tell them what that is. Tell them what DNA of CRE is.
It is like a research platform, so brokers and commercial real estate marketers get on there and answer some questions. Where do they see the industry next year? What sort of marketing tools are they utilizing? What's in the pipeline that they're going to be utilizing? More email marketing, more video, more drone, more direct mailers or newspaper advertisements.
It's kind of like the pulse. They take a pulse on that year, the year in CRE, and it's great because basically they do this research and then they publish it out, and anybody can see it, right?
Yeah.
So it's really neat to see what our peers are saying about the industry.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the same thing we're doing here. It's almost a mini research session every month. Yeah.
With the topic. So, I think we could probably talk.
No.
Look, it says 30.
I know.
We talked for 34 minutes.
I said earlier, I don't even think we'll get to 5 minutes.
Yeah, so maybe we'll cut this in snippets and post some, snippets online. But obviously, this has gone for 34 minutes, and I know Duke Long says 40 minutes or 45, and that's it. So for a podcast, so wherever you're listening to us from, thank you for listening this far. We really think we could talk all day, and we're excited.
Oh, well, we have kind of covered a bunch of our topics, maybe 2 of them, in this 34 minutes, and really it was this first podcast and video was going to be, what is CRE Chat? what are our plans, how does it work, and I think we covered all of that and more. And kind of what's next for CRE Chat, I guess, really to close it out, is to have our guest host and provide even more content to people who don't have Twitter, who can join in and listen, and we'll cover our questions again on the podcast that we cover on Twitter, and we'll have our guest host be able to answer, and we'll be able to get more in-depth answers from them on our topics that we cover.
Yeah, I mean, I think probably we typically do a recap online, or now we've been posting moments on Twitter, but we really, Casey, it's so funny. Every time we have a chat, the next day we call each other. We talk about the chat. So now we'll wait to talk about the chat.
Yes,
So we do the podcast, because it's so exciting. Like, it's such a thrill to do the chat, and then
because we're always like la, 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 la.
Yeah,
it's hard to keep up.
It's so fast. So what's next for we are super excited. This is not, to me, this is not natural. Like, this is not something I set out to do. I don't think Casey did either.
No.
But it's something that we're passionate about, and we want to do for the community, for
our
industry, and we think it's important. So to share with each other what's going on, what we think is the next trend, how can we support each other. So stay tuned for the podcast. We hope you can participate in the chats. Again, if you're not on Twitter, get on Twitter. Get on Twitter on May the 30th at 7:30 Central Time, and follow the chat, hashtag CRE Chat, and then kind of stay tuned to the podcast and give us your feedback, and we'll be in touch.
Yeah. So follow at CRE Chat Live on Twitter. Website for CRE Chat Live is coming soon. Obviously, the podcast is kind of already here. So you can follow each of us individually. Again, I'm at Flann Casey, FLANNCASEY on Twitter.
And I'm at MBAlexan, MBALEXAN.
And follow us, let us know your thoughts, and I guess that'll do it.
That's it. All right.
Oh, bye, y'all.